In 2005, there was only one status symbol that mattered in the business world. It wasn't the car you drove or the watch you wore. It was the device clipped to your belt, the BlackBerry. Before terms like doom scrolling or on-demand economy existed, BlackBerry, or RIM, Research in Motion, delivered the impossible. Your entire inbox in the palm of your hand. It was an addiction so potent it earned the nickname the Crackberry. By 2007, RIM owned nearly 50% of the U.S. smartphone market and had over $3 billion in revenue. Their dominance seemed absolute. But their greatest strength, their core design, was about to become their fatal weakness. This is the story of how an empire, built on security and keyboards, crumbled in the face of a single revolutionary idea. To understand the fall, you must understand the foundation. RIM, co-founded by Mike Lazaridis and Jim Balsillie, understood two things very well: mobile email security and data efficiency. They didn't just build a device. They built a network. They encrypted data from the device to the server. For Fortune 500 CEOs and the U.S. government, BlackBerry wasn't just efficient, it was secure. The users were fiercely loyal to the physical QWERTY keyboard. It offered sensory feedback that software keyboards couldn't match. It gave users speed. By the mid-2000s, RIM's founders were convinced that this was what everyone wanted. They were looking down at their keyboards while the market was about to look up. This is the moment everything changed. On January 9, 2007, Steve Jobs stood on a stage in San Francisco and announced the iPhone. He introduced it as three revolutionary devices: a widescreen iPod, a mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communicator. But when RIM co-CEO Mike Lazaridis watched the keynote, he didn't see a revolutionary device. He saw a bad idea. To the BlackBerry executives, the iPhone was a toy. They thought the iPhone was deeply flawed. First, it had terrible battery life compared to the week-long runtime of a BlackBerry. Second, it required too much data, which the cellular networks of 2007 couldn't handle. But most importantly, they believed users would never give up a physical keyboard. This was the peak of BlackBerry's arrogance. They confused what their existing enterprise clients wanted with what the average consumer was about to desire. The iPhone took off faster than anyone predicted. Consumers weren't just checking emails, they were consuming the internet, watching video and taking photos. All things BlackBerry struggled to do. Instead of innovating, RIM went on the defensive. Under pressure from Verizon, which had rejected the iPhone, BlackBerry scrambled to create an iPhone killer. The result, in 2008, was the BlackBerry Storm. It was a failure. Attempting to bridge the gap, RIM gave it a full touch screen, but the entire screen clicked down like a giant button. It was slow, frustrating to use, and often buggy. It sold well initially due to hype, but returns were disastrous. It was the first sign that RIM couldn't build software that competed with iOS or the emerging Android. The collapse, when it arrived, was fast and brutal. RIM tried everything. They released a small tablet called the Playbook, but it launched without native email support, a fatal flaw. They eventually tried to launch a modern operating system, BlackBerry 10, in 2013. It was too little, too late. Developers refused to build apps for their ecosystem. Users had already switched to the convenience of iPhone and Android. They were no longer crackberries, they were obsolete. By 2016, BlackBerry's global smartphone market share was 0.0%. The company stopped manufacturing its own phones. The secure messaging service they pioneered, BBM, was shut down. The story of BlackBerry is the story of success blinding innovation. RIM was so dominant in their specific market, secure mobile email for professionals, that they failed to see that the market itself was about to change forever. They built the perfect tool for 2005, and refused to evolve for 2007. Today, BlackBerry exists as a software company focused on cybersecurity and automotive software. The physical keyboards are a memory, but the lesson is eternal. In business, the only thing more dangerous than failure is believing that what made you successful yesterday will keep you successful tomorrow. Subscribe for more business case studies.